Hey, this is Mr. Coach Willson, man, coming from North Webster High School in Spring Hill, Louisiana, and you're watching Louisiana on Fire.
What's up, Louisiana? This is Tim Davis, and you are watching another episode of Louisiana on Fire. And today, we have a brother of mine. We went to college together.
Oh, yeah.
He is a head coach. He is a father, amongst other things. I call him coach. You should call him coach. He calls me coach. This is Coach Chris, a.k.a. Pie Willson. Appreciate you coming. Well, we're here in the 318.
Yeah.
We're in the 318.
Yeah, I got him him out the Cajun country for a second.
Yes,
man.
thank you for giving us the opportunity to come out here, man. Like when I said on my promo that I wanted to go to the 318, you were the first person that I thought of. So he reached out to me because I was kind of worried that I didn't have his number anymore. I thought once he became head coach, he changed his number, but he didn't.
Please.
But so he reached out to me. He's like, bro, what can I do to get on the show? And I'm like, this is all you had to do. I was like, so we're gonna make a day. And so we are here. So thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you making the trip, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful ride to Shreveport.
It really is. There's
Yeah.
a lot of trees, and I'm fine with that. The scenery, as long as I don't get stuck on the road, I'm not gonna wood for when we head back, But it was good. It was a quick shot straight,
Yeah.
So we here, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Look, man, we are here. We're talking to you, like I said, head coach, father. But we got to know the real Chris, the Chris that I know, and everything of that sort, so people can get to know you better, man.
Yeah.
So tell us, let's. Who are you right now? Who are you today?
Today, I'm the head football coach at North Webster High School in Spring Hill, Louisiana. It's a consolidation of Spring Hill High, Sarepta High, Shongaloo High, and Cotton Valley High.
Damn.
So Webster Parish went through a consolidation in 2011 where they started, they went through a rough patch financially. They started shutting down schools. And the population of those areas when those Spring Hill, that area there was the International Paper plant in those plants. And so when
yeah.
the plant closed down, population kind of disappeared.
Right.
So financially, the smart thing to do was to kind of start consolidating schools. So I got all four of those schools lumped into one. Old Spring Hill High has 2 state championships. One of the few Louisiana schools that has a Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, really?
John David Crow, 1930 something. He was the head coach at ULM. He was the AD at Texas A&M. He played for Texas A&M. He was in that Junction Boys era.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we got we had 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Balcom and Farrell, that the namesake of the stadium. So much so that Coach Farrell died at halftime during a football game.
Wow.
On the sideline, during the game.
Wow.
But there's a lot of legacy in Spring Hill, man. And so for me to be the first black head coach in that town's history,
Wow.
is really, really an honor. I'm just blessed to be in that position and to work for that community, because that community has shown me so much love in the last 5 months, if it's even been 5 months. It's been about 4 months.
4 months.
Just 4 months, man, 2 months being there every day.
Yeah.
The first 2 months I did all my work from my previous stop. So just to be in the community every day and to learn to bond with those kids and finally know everybody's name, it's just been a blessing to be in that position, because that place is a legacy stop.
Yeah.
And I knew when I wanted to get my next head coaching opportunity, I wanted to be in a spot where it's a legacy spot.
Right.
And so Spring Hill, North Webster is that.
Man, that's amazing. I didn't know all this information. I just knew you, like when we went to college, that when we first met, I was like, man, there's something about you, man. Like, what you here on campus for? I like, because you look like a coach. And he said, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to be a coach. And you made it, man.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you, bro.
Oh, yeah, man. It's, when you're able to do something that you wanted to do since you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, this start year 16. Year 16 coaching. It'll be my 3rd year as a head coach. Second opportunity as a football head coach. I've done head coaching in football, baseball,
Yes.
middle school basketball, powerlifting. So I've done, I've had my hand in pretty much everything for a while now. I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
So it ain't about money. It's about doing what I said I wanted to do.
Right.
So being in the opportunity to do what I said I wanted to do is, that's the satisfaction.
Yeah. See, and that's what I want to get into. And we will get into that because, I mean, being that you also a teacher, right?
Right.
So, being that in Louisiana, I know teachers in Louisiana, it's a very, very hard job. And the money, the salary is not where it should be amongst other states in comparison. So we definitely going to dive into that. But let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit, man. So let's tell us about how you were when you were younger. I know you said at 8 years old, this is when you decided you wanted to be a head coach. So tell us about how you were as a kid.
Well, I'm the oldest of two, right? My mom and dad. My mom is from Nebraska. She moved to Louisiana in '75.
So that's why you like Nebraska.
That's why I'm a Cornhusker fan. Yeah,
Man.
my mom's from Omaha. So she moved here in '75, and her first husband was Air Force.
Yeah.
And so he came down here to Barksdale. They ended up getting divorced. She met my dad. They dated for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Had me, got married, had my brother in '88. My dad passed in '93. So it's been 30 years.
Right.
31 years since my dad passed. And so it's always really been us three, my mom and my brother. My mom is my best friend. I talked to her this morning,
Yeah.
But nah, man, I had the general grow up childhood, man. I played football, I played baseball, I drew, we did drag racing, we played hockey in the street. We watched a lot of Mighty Ducks. I wasn't a big cartoon guy.
Yes, yes.
I wasn't a big cartoon guy. I wasn't a Transformer Marvel guy.
Right.
I watched football and I watched sports movies, and I drew football in my notebook, and that's the only thing I cared about. I was the kid who got up every morning to watch SportsCenter 5 times in a row, and it was the same episode. I was the stat almanac as a kid. I knew every Super Bowl champ, and I knew every Super Bowl MVP, and I would get the almanac with every D1, every college in the country, in their mascot, in their enrollment, and I would read that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of kid I was. I wasn't a big cartoon guy.
No.
I watched it. I grew up in the South Park era.
Yeah.
But I'm a wrestling geek.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I'm a wrestling geek, and
We used to talk about that
I
in
got
college.
the things that I have, the quirks that I have, and like I told my kids, when you get that job, you got to come in guns blazing, pissed off all the time. And I said, the longer I'm here, the more opportunity you get to know who I really am.
Yeah.
And that's who I really am. I'm an '80s pop, '80s music, wrestling
yes, you
geek.
Are. Yes, you are.
That, as you see my backdrop, I'm a big sports guy, and I just do what I love.
Right.
I never tried to fit in with the culture. I just did what I liked, and I just did what made me happy. And again, that's that part that I try to tell my kids. You don't have to follow nobody. You don't just do what you do.
Yeah.
So I did drama and politics in high school. Got to Southern. I did drama and politics at Southern.
Yeah.
I was big in SGA.
Yes. Yes.
Senior class president, men's fair president, blah 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 blah. So I did that 5 years. Then I decided I was ready to graduate. So I really knuckled down. Really
5 years.
Down. And, that last year, finally passed the praxis and got out of there and came straight home. Got a job at Green Oaks. I worked under a Grambling Hall of Famer, Steve Dennis.
Wow.
And then he retired after the first year. We went through 4 more coaches in my 6 years at Green Oaks. I left there, went to BTW for a year.
Yeah.
Left BTW, went to Fair Park for a year. Fair Park closed. All of us got shipped back to BTW. I did 1 more year at BTW. Then I went to Mansfield for 2 years as a head baseball coach in football. COVID hit. And we were kind of sitting around for a couple months. And then Plain Dealing came open. The outgoing head coach, shout out to James Thurman, he texted me, and we had been friends for a while. And he said, "Chris, I'm leaving Plain Dealing. Do you want the job?" I was like, "Well, shit, why not?" He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "It ain't much there. The kids are dwindling." He said, "But I think this will be a great opportunity for you to get your start." I said, "Absolutely. I'm with it." He emailed the principal. Principal remembered me from the original time I interviewed at Plain Dealing. Kind of snowballed. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Got that job. We had 2, in my opinion, my record doesn't reflect, but I think we had 2 great years at Plain Dealing. It's hard to play high school football with 20 kids.
Right.
We never dressed more than 20 kids.
20 kids.
We made the playoffs both years.
Man.
In the, as folks on the message boards would say, the watered down Louisiana high school playoff system. We made the playoffs both years. The first year we went 3-5. That was the shortened COVID year. We won week 10. We qualified for the playoffs on Friday night. I tested positive for COVID Saturday morning.
Come on.
So we had to opt out the playoffs for that first year. Came back. Well, after that year, I had the brain surgery.
Yeah.
I had two seizures back to back. Ended up in the hospital. I had a benign tumor on the brain. They took the tumor off. I was down for about 2 months. I ended up going back to work, finishing track season. We took two kids to state and track. Went through that second football season. And that was a struggle because a lot of the high schooler kids were gone.
Yeah.
So we dressed 20. 7 of the 20 were 8th graders. You would never put your kid out there.
Wow.
We won enough to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Went down to Oberlin, got smacked. But so after that, I was mentally and emotionally drained. It was really hard trying to put on the face as the leader to make everybody in the town feel like everything was going to be okay, and I knew the truth.
Yeah.
And so I saw the writing on the wall with the number of high school kids that were going to leave in the next couple years. So I kind of got out. I fell up in North DeSoto.
Yes.
The first year in North DeSoto, we go to state. It's the first time the school's ever been in play for a state championship. A couple interceptions, cost us a state championship, but those kids overachieved. You look at that group of kids, you look at that community, you don't expect kids to play for a state championship. But that was probably the tightest knit group I've ever been a part of as a coach.
Wow.
Those kids grew up from 5 years old being ball boys.
Yeah.
And they were able to play for a state championship as a senior. And so I was really blessed to be a part of that. In the next year, we kind of recreated the same thing, fell short against a juggernaut Opelousas team. Shout out to Coach Zachary and those boys at Opelousas, because those kids were loaded. And they deserved everything they got that last year.
Yes.
Because they just beat us up. So much speed and size on that field. And they just beat us up, and, so we fell short. And then, like we were talking about before we started, North Webster kind of fell in my lap.
Right.
I wasn't looking. I kind of soured after I got turned down for a couple jobs, and I wasn't interested in looking for anything.
Yeah.
And North Webster came open late in the cycle, and another one of my colleagues called me and he said, "I think you'll be great for this job." I say, "Well, you do what you got to do." And so he emailed and head coach. He's the head coach at Glenbrook Academy, Reagan Smith. He emailed the principal on my behalf. Principal did his due diligence that day. He emailed me back. He told him to contact him, so I shot on my resume, and it kind of snowballed, and here I am. So going from a program with 100 kids in the school to all summer we've seen about 95 kids at least once. 73 of them are showing up enough to get a jersey number. I feel like we're in a good spot. So that's kind of been my winding road as a coach in Shreveport, man, and It is what it is,
I mean, like just the trek that you've taken to get to where you at, though, man. Like, and let me ask you this: so, being that you're the head coach now, and you were a head coach before as well, but with this one though, it seems a little different though. So, how do you, when you come into a new place and everything, how do you get those young men and young women? Because I know you coaching in other areas as well. Right. How do you get them behind you?
You got to be yourself. I didn't. I challenged myself going to North DeSoto. North DeSoto wasn't the spot where, call a spade a spade. You didn't have too many black guys that coached in the hood get to a spot like North DeSoto. They're a very, very inclusive group. Yeah. And the head coach at North DeSoto heard me talking on the morning radio show when I was head coach of Plain Dealing. And he loved my honesty and he loved my candidness when I spoke about my kids. And he said that was somebody that he would like in his program. So when I became available, the offensive coordinator reached out to me. He didn't let me take no for an answer. He didn't take no for an answer. He stayed on me. And I went through that period of, self-depreciation. What do they need me for? Why me? Why me? And then God showed me immediately why I needed to be in that spot. I feel like me being there elevated the program. They were 6-6 the year before I got there. The next year we were 13-2.
And you were offensive coordinator.
I was the offensive line coach.
Offensive line coach.
I was the offensive. I had the cute run game coordinator title. And that was Coach Dunn's way of valuing me as a former head coach. I want to give you a coordinator title, sure. But my job was easy. Those guys, Matt Parker, Dane Reeves over there at North DeSoto, those young cats are juggernauts. Both 2 future head coaches, And I was able, as the old man on the offensive staff, aside from Coach Dunn, to really sit back and let those guys cook.
Yeah.
You know, go back to being an assistant, speak when spoken to. If you need my assistance, I'll give it to you. If you don't need me, I'll just do my job and mind my business.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a transition. You know, just being humble enough to take a step back and not be in a position to run anything. You know, everything I did at Plain Dealing. You know, from stadium organizing,
Yes.
and you know, we did it all. You know, we had some assistants. You know, but for the most part, it was me. All my other assistants were in the class all day. You know, so for me, having the flexibility as the head coach, I did everything at Plain Dealing.
Right.
So to get to a spot where everything was already done, they said, come in and you do you. I had to trust myself that I could come in and be me, because I wasn't a lot of black kids. Not a lot of black kids in North DeSoto. You know, there's probably on that football team of 100 kids, you might have 10.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and so, you know, just going in and being myself and hoping that those kids that didn't look like me, that had never had a coach like me, would embrace me, and they did.
Yeah.
You know, we overachieved.
Man, that's amazing, man. To go into a place to where you're different, you know, just because you know how you look, really and truly, you know. But they embraced you,
Yeah,
you know,
parents
and
did,
yeah,
you know, the community did. They loved them some macho.
Yeah.
You know, they loved them some macho Camacho, man, and those people realized how much I love their kids and how much I love the game.
Yeah.
And they loved my excitement on the sidelines. And I was to run up and down the sideline and high five the kids and celebrate and be loud. And, you know, they loved that. They weren't used to that type of energy, you know, and enjoying it. You know, I just enjoy it. And that's the same way, you know, same approach I took at North Webster. I love football, you know, so I want people around me that love playing football and love being here.
Right.
And that's what they weren't used to. You know? They just needed a culture shift in their program. They needed somebody in place that loved it, and loved the kids and loved being a part of that. And so that's what I've tried to bring out there.
Yeah.
And so the kids have been responding well. Community, coaches, everybody's been responding well.
That's amazing, man. I'm glad to hear that. But like I said before, though, you don't just do football, or you haven't just done football.
Right.
So like what made you get into track and into baseball? Like I ain't
had no choice. You know, you in small schools, man. They say, hey, you know, when I got Mansfield, that was the first time that I had been a head coach of a high school sport. And my mentor, Mike Green, he's a Southern grad. You know, he's an Alpha, and he coached my brother at Huntington. And when I always wanted to work for Mike Green, Mike Green in Shreveport football, if you a black coach, Mike Green's at the top.
Yeah.
Right. And so to have, you know, when I was leaving, I was interested in leaving my spot, and I ended up running into Mike and Coach Cooper at the coaches clinic in Dallas, just on some accidental stuff. And they came down and we went out and we kicked it. And we were sitting at the restaurant one night, and they was like, man, we need a coach. I'm like, well, hell, I want to be a coach. You know, so if the opportunity's there, I want to be a part of it. So he came in and we talked. I met with the principal. He said, okay, you're the head baseball coach. Okay. You know, okay. You know, so that pretty much how it happened. So in my mind, that was my opportunity to say, okay, I get to rebuild a program. Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, before I become a head football coach, let me see if I can rebuild a program. Mansfield hadn't won a baseball game in 2 years.
What?
694 days. They hadn't won a baseball game in 694 days when I got that job.
Come on, man. Wow.
No helmets, no uniforms, no bats.
Oh, yeah, it was
like
hardball. It was like hardball.
The grass hadn't been cut.
Yeah.
You know, there were wasp nests up in the press box. You know, the dugout was one of those sunken in joints, and the rain had brought the mud into the dugout, so you couldn't drain it, so it was a mud pit. And he gave me the key. He said, that's yours, figure it out. And when football season's over, go do baseball. So when football season ended, I immediately went to baseball. I took a shovel. I shoveled the mud out. I sent emails to the superintendent. We need uniforms. We need bats. I went on Facebook. As you see, I'm not opposed to begging.
Right.
You know, so we got grassroots donations, and we bought bats, and we bought, my classmate from high school donated me cases of baseballs.
Yeah.
You know, so we got everything we needed to do to start a season, and we got our teeth kicked in.
Come on.
Teeth kicked in, but we won.
Yeah.
You know, we won 2 games.
Nice.
You know, we won 2 games. We broke the streak, and then the second year we had everything rolling. We had a bunch of young guys coming back. We had won more games in that second year than we had won in the first year. In 5, and we were 3-4. Then COVID hit, and that was gonna be our playoff. Yep, we killed it. We played a game on Saturday. On Friday night, I remember doing a 7-on-7 tournament that next Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Monday, we never went back.
Man.
Monday, we never went back. Now it was gonna be and so after COVID, the next year, I was gone, and they made the playoffs that year.
Come on.
That with the same kids.
Yeah.
So I knew we were on the incline.
See, and that's the thing. I remember like brick by brick.
Brick by brick. BXB.
Yes, and you've been doing that. So to see what you helped build, and then you're not there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That bothered me.
yeah.
Brick by brick.
Yeah.
The bricks are still there.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The bricks are there.
Right.
You know, so I helped lay a foundation.
Yeah.
You know, the foundation doesn't disappear because I do. The foundation is there.
It's still there.
Get somebody in there that loves it like I did.
Yeah.
And my assistant coach, the coach that took over for me was my assistant.
Yeah.
He loved it like I did. So all he did was elevate it.
Yeah.
So
Man.
so the foundation is the foundation. That doesn't leave with you. You know,
Right.
I didn't take all my bats back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't
Find your way. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, you know, I didn't take all the bats and take the jerseys and box them up and bring them home. You know,
Yeah.
you build it because the kids deserve that.
Yeah.
You know, and then when it's time for you to move, time for you to move. And
Right.
like I tell the kids, they say, "Why are you leaving us?" I say, "Don't you graduate? You leave."
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
true.
It hurt me more leaving North DeSoto, leaving my kids in the classroom than it did football. They cried. We
Yeah.
cried. We sat in there stared
Yeah.
at each other and cried. You know, because you get an opportunity to build with those kids.
Yeah.
You know, and those football boys, you know, that's a state championship program. They're gonna be all right.
Right.
You know, but those kids in the classroom with the course that I was teaching, they needed me.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully, you know, whoever takes that spot, you know, loves those kids like I love those kids, because those kids are your forgot about kids, and they deserve and need a little bit more.
They're not the super athletes and all
No,
this
they're
and that.
you know, they're your
Right.
you know, Stonewall is a very affluent outskirt town, and all of the people who originally lived there are not those people. So it's affluent because of transplants.
Yeah.
But the people who grew up there, they don't have that. They don't have that money. They can't. If they moved away, they couldn't move back.
Come on.
If they moved away, they couldn't afford to move back.
Yeah, because of the
so-
price of living.
Because of the price of living. You know,
Wow.
every house up there is $250K plus.
Wow.
I can't afford to move there.
Yeah.
They said, "But coach, you're gonna move out here?" No. I can't afford it. You know,
Yeah.
can't afford it. Not on my teacher salary.
Yeah.
You know, but the principal lived there. The head football coach lived there.
Yeah.
The assistant principal. Everybody lived out there. I can't afford to live out there. I drove that 25 miles every day.
Right. Man, they're like, so let me ask you that too. Like, as a teacher, man, with the salary and everything, like, how do you do it? Like, really, and how do you feel about that? You know,
I don't.
You know?
I don't. It is what it is. You know, you don't get, you know, when you go into it, you're not going into it for no money. You know, you knew that. Now, I knew that. You know, God put me in a position very early in my career to buy this house. This house was a steal.
Yeah.
And so for the what I pay for this house and the space that we have, I accommodate all my family, and I can afford to live.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not leaving. You know, if I leave this house, that means we're leaving the state.
Come on.
If we leave if that means we're leaving the Shreveport area.
Yeah.
It was a 45-minute to Mansfield. It was a 55-minute to Plain Dillon. It was 25 to North DeSoto. It's an hour to Spring Hill.
Wow.
And I've been driving that for 7 years now.
It's nothing to you.
It's nothing to me.
Come on, man.
Huntington, my neighborhood school is, I can walk there.
Yeah.
Okay, they won't hire me. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't, you know, I apply for almost every job school in this area I've met with
Yeah.
the exception of few, as head coaches.
Yeah.
And they weren't ready for me.
Come on.
My opportunities have come outside the city,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Because you making a name for yourself
Sometimes
outside.
you gotta-
Yeah.
The superintendent, no, the athletic director of this district told me when I couldn't get a job, I met him and I say, "Well, what is it?" He said, "Sometimes you got to leave for
Yeah.
them to appreciate you."
Yes.
And he meant that.
Yes.
And ever since then, I said, "Well, I'm not gonna hold myself hostage to working in Caddo."
Right.
You know, because DeSoto Parish has taken me in twice.
Yeah.
You know, Bossier took me in.
Yeah.
You know, Webster has taken me in. It's been 2, 4, 6. It's been 6 years since I've been in Caddo.
Come on, man.
You know, and I live in Caddo.
Yeah.
My taxes go to Caddo. my kids go across the street, go to
Yeah.
school across the street, but I'm not gonna work here.
Yeah.
I'm not. I want to be somewhere where I feel valued.
Yeah. Value.
And, this is,
Yeah.
and everywhere else is where I feel valued.
Yeah.
So
You making a name for yourself outside, and, you know, and I mean, hey, do what you got to do for sure, because
Oh, absolutely.
whenever you make it, and then you know, and then they see that, then,
Well, they see
you know,
it.
yeah.
They see it, but again, it's different when the people around you know you.
Yeah.
They hold you to a different standard.
That is true.
You know, and so that's what it is. You know, people in the district know who I am. You know, they've known my mom. You know, a lot of them know my father.
Yeah.
They've known me when I was a young dumb coach.
Yeah.
And they hold it against you. You know, they might. You know, I'm not saying they do.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not the same person now at 39 than I was at 24. 24, I was a stupid kid. You know, I lived with mom. I was making money for the first time in my life. Yeah, I made some stupid decisions back then, but that ain't who I am now.
No.
You know, so, but again, when opportunity knocks, I'm answering the door.
Yeah.
No matter if I can drive, you know, I won't go past an hour.
Yeah.
I won't go past an hour.
That's it.
That's it. Spring Hill is an hour and 4 minutes door to door. That I ain't going no farther than that.
So what's a day in the life of Coach Willson right now, waking up in the morning?
So right now we're finishing up summer workouts. My alarm hits. Well, I don't need an alarm. I'm up at 4 every morning.
Come on.
And I stare at the ceiling. My wife gets up about 5:30. We get the kids up at 6. My job every morning is to get the babies dressed and in the car seat. When I get the babies dressed in the car seat, I take them to the car. She leaves, I leave. So I drive to Spring Hill. I knock out the day. Get done, I get in my car, come home. You know, so what I did, for summer workouts, I get home, I pick the kids up from camp, I come home, I cook, you know, get the baby settled down. When wife comes home, she plays with the babies, we go to bed. Bingo, bingo, bucks.
Right.
When I went up during the school week, when I got the job and I was just sneaking up there, I take a day off from North Dakota, I go to Spring Hill, you know, spend the day with the kids.
Yeah.
Same setup. I go down, I do my job, I drive an hour home. You know, come home and do whatever I need to do. Be a present father and present husband in the house.
Yeah.
You know, you wash, rinse, repeat, do it over again. You know, same way of plain dealing. You know, come home. If I got to cook, I got to cook. You know, if I got to take care of kids, I got to take care of kids. You know, and then wait for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, get you the opportunity to breathe.
To kind of relax and chill out. Mm-hmm. Man, and that's every Monday.
That's every day.
Come on.
Every day.
See, that's dedication right there. Like you're not doing it for the money.
No.
You're not.
I mean, you don't. It's an hour drive. Like I drive that truck, and 3 days, you got to fill up every fourth day.
Every fourth day.
If I'm going down there on the fourth day, I got to put gas in the car.
Come on.
So I gassed up Monday. I put gas in it today.
Yeah.
And I went down there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. So, like, let me ask you this then. So, with what you're doing now, like, and I'm probably going too far right now, but I got to know, like, what do you want to, like, do you want to go to college and be a coach or?
Nope. You know why? Well, I tell people all the time, if, say Southern called.
Right.
Hey, Willson, we love what you do because, you know, Gerald Kimball, if you know your Southern football history, Gerald Kimball was the head coach at Southern.
Right.
He was the head coach at Southern leaving Shreveport. He was a high school coach in Shreveport, got hired at Southern.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, Gerald Kimball, again, you talking legacy coaches.
Yeah.
You know, hell, I would love to be a Gerald Kimball. But, you know, the way college football works, that's not going to happen. But you go take a job at Grambling. That's a $20,000 pay cut.
Really?
Yeah, because you're not gonna come in and say, hey, you're gonna take Hugh Jackson's spot.
Right.
You know, you're gonna take, who was the coach now? Mickey Joseph.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna go from high school and take Mickey Joseph's spot and make $112,000, $130,000, $180,000.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a position coach. That's why Robert Valdez, shout out to Valdez at St. Aug, he was the O-line coach at Graham, resigned to go be the head football coach at St. Aug in high school. There's more money in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. There's more money in high school.
Cool. I mean, I kind of figured that, but at the same time, when you look at it, because you're like,
you're looking at the step.
Yeah,
you're looking at the step. It ain't about the step. There's more. If you get to a good high school spot where the principal values their head coach, I don't have to teach anymore.
Yeah.
I've earned my way out the classroom.
Yeah.
You know, at Plain Dealing, I taught AP government and politics.
I was going to ask.
You know, I taught class. You know, at North DeSoto, I was the JAG specialist. You know, you had to teach. You know, I finally got to a spot where I don't have to teach. My job is to run the football program, and I'm the AD, so run the athletic department. You know, and follow behind my
head
team.
coach and AD.
Yeah, you know, but that's usually how it works in high school. You know,
Okay,
you're the head football coach, you're the AD because you're responsible for more kids than anybody else.
Yeah,
you know, I got 80 kids on the roster. basketball will have 12. You know,
Yeah.
and 9 of the 12 are my football players. So
That's
I've
true.
already had access to them. So, you know, it's a workload.
Yeah.
You know, you go to college, you're working 12 months a year. You got to recruit. You got to be at the school. You got to do this. You got to be gone.
Yeah.
And right now, my family is too big for me to say. And then it's the uncertainty. You know, we say Mickey Joseph at Grambling, I get on his staff. He's real good. He gets promoted to another school. And he takes me with him.
Yeah.
And then we're hopping schools every year. We're going to different states every year. And I'm not willing to do that.
I understand
The
that.
stability of high school is where I like.
I understand that. Yeah, because I mean, you know, like I said, in college, and you had your the White Sox hat on and stuff like that. I was like, man, this dude is a coach.
Yeah.
Dude is a coach. Like, you know, so I just figured that you was gonna, you know, follow the steps. You know, get to high school.
I should have got in it
college.
earlier.
Really?
I should have got in it. If I tell my high school kids that say they want to coach,
Yeah.
when you go to college, find a school that will take you on and let you work. I piped in one of my youngsters from North DeSoto to Newsom at Como.
Come on.
And I said, hey, I got a young kid who wants to coach. He's coming down. When he gets enrolled and he moves in, I'm going to have him come meet you. Just give him something to do. Let him get it. Let him learn how to be a coach. Let him learn football from the coach standpoint, not the player.
Yeah.
I wish all them years I spent at Southern Lab and at Capitol.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me, hey, you want to coach? Come help us.
Right.
And I would have got 4 years in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. Man, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead. We're going to end part 1 right here with Coach Willson. And we're going to go to part 2. So we're going to see you on the next one, all right? What's up, Louisiana? Thanks for watching another episode of Louisiana on Fire. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Oh, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified for the next episode.